There comes a moment in every life when the noise around you gets louder than the voice within you. A moment when everyone has opinions about where you should go, who you should be, and how fast you should get there. But somewhere deep inside, your spirit begins to whisper a different message. It whispers that the greatest work you will ever do is not trying to fix the world around you. It is working on the person within you. Because when you start paying attention to your own life, when you begin to nurture your own growth, everything around you begins to shift. So many people spend their lives watching others, watching their success, watching their relationships, watching their progress. But tonight, I came to remind somebody that your breakthrough is not hidden in somebody else's life. Your purpose is not locked inside someone else's story. God gave you a life, a path, a calling, and the moment you start paying attention to it, the moment you begin to invest in your healing, your discipline, and your mindset, something powerful begins to awaken inside of you. You see, working on yourself is not selfish. It is sacred work. It is the courage to confront your fears, to heal your wounds, and to grow beyond the limits that once defined you. It means choosing growth over comfort. It means choosing discipline over distraction. And sometimes it means stepping away from the noise of the world just long enough to hear the voice of who you are becoming. Because the truth is, you cannot build a powerful life if you ignore the foundation of your own soul. You cannot walk confidently into your future if you are still running from the work that needs to be done within you. Your peace, your purpose, your next level, it all begins with the decision to take your life seriously. So today, this message is not about judging where you have been. It is not about shaming the mistakes you made or the seasons that slowed you down. This is about awakening. This is about realizing that the most important project you will ever work on is you, your mindset, your habits, your faith, your vision. And when you begin to pay attention to those things, when you begin to nurture the life that God placed in your hands, you step into a level of power that no one can take away. And I believe there are people listening right now who feel that stirring deep inside their spirit. A quiet conviction that says it is time to grow, time to heal, time to focus, time to become the person your future is waiting for. So lean in for a moment, open your heart, and allow this message to challenge you, stretch you, and awaken something greater within you. Because the life you desire is not waiting somewhere far away. It begins the moment you decide to work on yourself and finally start paying attention to the life you were given. There are moments in life when we become so busy responding to the world around us that we forget the responsibility we carry within ourselves. We wake up every day answering to demands, expectations, responsibilities, and pressures that come from family, friends, society, and sometimes even strangers. We learn to show up for everyone else. We learn to perform. We learn to adjust. But somewhere along the way, many people stop showing up for the one life they have actually been entrusted with. Your life is your first responsibility, yet so many people treat it like it is the last thing on their list. It is easy to get distracted by everything happening around you. The world is full of noise. Social media is full of comparisons. People are constantly showing their highlight reels while you are quietly fighting your own battles behind the scenes. And if you are not careful, you can spend so much time watching other people's lives that you forget to nurture your own. You can spend so much energy worrying about what someone else is doing that you neglect the work that must be done within your own heart, your own mind, and your own spirit. Your growth cannot happen by accident. It requires attention. It requires intention. It requires honesty with yourself. Growth is uncomfortable because it forces you to confront the habits, the mindsets, and the patterns that may have kept you stuck for years. Many people want change, but very few are willing to take responsibility for the process that change requires. They want a different life without a different mindset. They want progress without discipline. They want transformation without self-reflection. But the truth is that the life you are living today is deeply connected to the level of responsibility you have taken for yourself. Responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that has happened in your life. Some things that happened to you were unfair. Some seasons were painful. Some people left wounds that you never deserve. Responsibility means recognizing that your healing, your growth, and your future are now in your hands. It means realizing that you cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can choose how you grow from it. Many people remain stuck because they are waiting for someone else to rescue them. They are waiting for the right opportunity, the right connection, the right timing, or the right encouragement. But the most powerful shift in your life happens when you stop waiting for external validation and begin to take ownership of your own development. You begin to ask yourself difficult questions. You begin to observe your habits. You begin to notice where your time is going and where your energy is being spent. Because your life reflects what you consistently pay attention to. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, fear, and comparison, your mindset will slowly become shaped by those things. If you constantly distract yourself from personal growth, the distance between who you are and who you could become will continue to grow. Attention is one of the most powerful forces in your life because whatever you focus on eventually begins to grow. Working on yourself requires a level of courage that many people avoid. It requires you to look in the mirror and acknowledge the areas where you still need to mature. It requires you to recognize the habits that have quietly sabotaged your progress. Sometimes the greatest barrier in your life is not the people around you, not your circumstances, not your past. Sometimes the greatest barrier is the version of yourself that refuses to grow beyond what is familiar. Familiar patterns can feel comfortable even when they are limiting. Familiar excuses can feel safe even when they are holding you back. Growth requires you to step outside of that comfort zone and begin developing the discipline that your future demands. Discipline is not about punishment. Discipline is about alignment. It is about making daily decisions that move your life closer to the person you are meant to become. When you begin taking responsibility for your life, something powerful begins to change inside of you. Your perspective begins to shift. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as a participant in your own transformation. You begin to realize that every day carries an opportunity to improve something about your mindset, your character, your habits, or your vision. Responsibility also means protecting your time and your attention. Not everything deserves access to your mind. Not every conversation deserves your emotional energy. Not every distraction deserves your focus. When you truly understand that your life is your first responsibility, you become more intentional about where your attention goes. You begin to guard your mental space because you understand that your thoughts shape the direction of your life. Growth also requires patience. Many people become discouraged because they expect instant results. But personal transformation is not a quick event. It is a process that unfolds through small, consistent actions repeated over time. Every moment you choose learning over laziness, discipline over distraction, reflection over denial, you are quietly building the foundation for a stronger version of yourself. There will be days when the progress feels slow. There will be moments when the old habits try to pull you back into familiar patterns. But growth is not measured by perfection. Growth is measured by persistence. It is measured by the willingness to keep moving forward even when the process feels challenging. When you take responsibility for your life, you begin to understand that your potential is not determined by where you started. It is determined by the decisions you make moving forward. Every day you have the opportunity to invest in your mindset. Strengthen your character, develop your discipline, expand your vision. The moment you truly accept that your life is your responsibility, the power within you begins to awaken. You begin to stop blaming circumstances. You begin to stop waiting for someone else to push you forward. You begin to recognize that the greatest investment you can make is the investment you make in your own growth. Because when you start working on yourself, when you start nurturing your mindset, your discipline, your faith, and your purpose, the trajectory of your life begins to change in ways that once seemed impossible. The person you become through that process carries a strength, clarity, and confidence that cannot be taken away by circumstances or opinions. And the moment you realize that your life is not something to be neglected, but something to be cultivated with intention, patience, and commitment, you begin to step into a level of growth that transforms not only your future, but also the way you show up in every space you enter, every relationship you build, and every opportunity that crosses your path as you continue learning, adjusting, strengthening your mindset, refining your habits, expanding your vision, deepening your self-awareness, nurturing your discipline, sharpening your focus, and gradually becoming the person your potential has been waiting for all along. There is a version of you that exists beyond the comfort you have grown used to. A version of you that thinks differently, moves differently, and lives with a level of purpose and clarity that you may not have fully stepped into yet. Many people dream about that version of themselves. They imagine a life where they are more focused, more confident, more successful, and more fulfilled. They picture the results, the peace, the strength, and the progress. But the truth that many people struggle to accept is that the distance between who you are today and who you are becoming is built through one powerful principle: discipline. Discipline is not always glamorous. It does not always feel exciting. In fact, discipline often shows up in the quiet moments when nobody is watching. It appears in the small decisions you make every single day. The decision to wake up when you would rather sleep longer. The decision to work on your goals when distractions are pulling at your attention. The decision to keep moving forward when progress feels slow and the results are not immediately visible. Most people admire success, but very few truly admire the discipline that creates it. They see the achievements, the breakthroughs, and the milestones, but they do not always see the countless hours of effort, sacrifice, and focus that happen behind the scenes. Discipline is the invisible structure that holds your dreams together when motivation fades. Because motivation is temporary. It rises and falls depending on how you feel in the moment. Some days you feel energized and ready to conquer the world. Other days you feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. If your growth depends only on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. But discipline creates consistency. Discipline allows you to continue moving forward even when your emotions are not cooperating. When you begin developing discipline in your life, something powerful begins to happen within your mindset. You start realizing that your actions do not have to be controlled by your feelings. You discover that you have the ability to choose your behavior even when comfort is tempting you to stay where you are. Discipline teaches you how to lead yourself instead of being controlled by your impulses. Many people misunderstand discipline. They see it as restriction, as something that takes freedom away from their lives. But in reality, discipline creates freedom. It creates the freedom to build the life you truly desire. When you discipline your habits, you gain control over your time. When you discipline your thoughts, you gain control over your mindset. When you discipline your focus, you gain the power to direct your energy toward meaningful progress. Without discipline, potential remains trapped. Talent alone is not enough. Intelligence alone is not enough. Dreams alone are not enough. There are countless people in the world who have incredible abilities, powerful ideas, and beautiful visions for their future. But without the structure of discipline, those dreams remain unfulfilled possibilities. Discipline transforms potential into progress. It turns ideas into actions. It turns intentions into results. Every time you follow through on a commitment you made to yourself, you strengthen your sense of self-trust. You begin to believe in your own ability to grow, to improve, and to achieve what once felt out of reach. The journey of discipline often begins with small steps. It begins with simple habits that you repeat daily. It begins with choosing to show up even when the task feels inconvenient. These small acts may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they begin to reshape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who waits for the perfect moment and start seeing yourself as someone who creates progress through consistency. One of the greatest battles you will face on the path of discipline is the battle with comfort. Comfort can be deceptive because it feels safe and familiar. It whispers that you deserve to relax, that tomorrow will be a better time to start, that the effort can wait. But comfort often keeps people stuck in cycles that prevent them from becoming who they are capable of becoming. Discipline invites you to move beyond that comfort. It asks you to stretch your limits and challenge the version of yourself that is satisfied with staying the same. It requires you to make choices that align with your future rather than choices that simply satisfy your present emotions. And the more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes. At first, it may feel difficult. Your mind may resist the structure you are trying to build. Your old habits may try to pull you back toward familiar patterns. But each time you choose discipline over distraction, you reinforce the mindset of growth. Over time, discipline becomes part of your identity. It becomes something you rely on instead of something you struggle against. Your actions begin to align with your vision. Your daily routines begin to support your long-term goals. The person you are becoming begins to emerge through the choices you make consistently. Discipline also shapes your resilience. Life will not always unfold according to your plans. There will be setbacks, delays, and challenges that test your patience and your determination. Discipline gives you the ability to remain steady even when circumstances feel uncertain. It gives you the strength to continue moving forward when others might give up. When you understand the power of discipline, you begin to see every day as an opportunity to strengthen it. Every moment becomes a choice between staying comfortable and stepping closer to the person you are becoming. Each small decision carries the potential to move your life forward or keep it standing still. The bridge between who you are and who you are becoming is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built piece by piece through daily commitment, through habits that align with your purpose, through actions that reflect your vision, through the quiet determination to keep growing even when nobody else notices the effort. And with every disciplined choice you make, the distance between your present self and your future self begins to shrink as your mindset grows stronger, your habits become more focused, your confidence deepens, your vision becomes clearer, and the person you are becoming gradually takes shape through the consistent actions you continue to take day after day, step by step, decision by decision, strengthening your commitment to growth and continuing to move forward with patience, determination, and focus on the life you are building through the discipline you practice every single day. One of the quiet traps that many people fall into is the habit of constantly watching other people's lives. It happens so subtly that you may not even realize it is happening. You scroll through someone's success story, you observe someone's relationship, you notice someone's progress, their opportunities, their achievements. Before long, your attention becomes filled with what everyone else is doing, how fast they are moving, how far ahead they seem to be, and how their lives appear to be unfolding. The danger is not simply that you see other people's journeys. The danger is that you become so focused on watching that you forget to build. Watching can feel productive, but it is often a distraction from the work your own life requires. It can create the illusion that you are participating in growth, when in reality you are only observing it from a distance. The truth is that someone else's success is not meant to become your measuring stick. Their timeline is not meant to become your pressure. Their path is not meant to become your blueprint. You were given your own life to build, your own purpose to discover, and your own potential to develop. Comparison quietly steals your focus. It shifts your attention away from your own progress and directs it towards someone else's journey. When you spend too much time comparing your life to others, you begin to overlook the unique process that your own growth requires. You start questioning your pace. You start doubting your direction. You start feeling as though you are behind. Even though you may be exactly where you need to be in your own development, the reality is that no two lives unfold in the same way. Every person carries different experiences, different opportunities, different struggles, and different lessons. When you measure your life against someone else's circumstances, you are comparing two completely different stories. Their chapter 10 may be visible to the world while you are still working through chapter 3 of your own journey. Building your life requires a shift in attention. It requires you to turn your focus inward and begin investing your time, your energy, and your effort into the foundation of your own growth. Instead of constantly observing what others are doing, you begin asking yourself powerful questions. What habits am I building? What mindset am I developing? What skills am I strengthening? What vision am I pursuing? Because the life you desire cannot be built through observation. It must be constructed through action. Action that is sometimes slow, action that is sometimes uncertain. Action that often happens quietly while no one else is watching. Many of the most meaningful transformations in life take place in private moments where discipline, learning, and persistence shape the person you are becoming. Watching others can sometimes create the illusion that success happens quickly or easily. Social media often shows the results of years of work condensed into a few seconds of celebration. What people rarely see are the countless moments of effort that existed before the breakthrough. The early mornings, the long nights, the failed attempts, the lessons learned through mistakes. When you shift your focus from watching to building, your mindset begins to change. You stop seeking validation from other people's progress. Instead, you begin measuring your growth through your own consistency. You start noticing the small improvements that happen within your mindset, your discipline, and your perspective. Building your own life also requires patience with your process. There will be times when progress feels slow. There will be moments when the results of your effort are not immediately visible, but growth rarely announces itself loudly. It often unfolds quietly through the habits you repeat every day and the lessons you learn along the way. When you are constantly watching others, it becomes easy to overlook the value of your own small steps. You may underestimate the importance of the progress you are making simply because it does not look as dramatic as someone else's success story. But every skill you develop, every mindset shift you experience, every challenge you overcome is strengthening the foundation of your future. Another challenge that comes with watching others too closely is the temptation to imitate rather than innovate. You may begin trying to copy someone else's path, believing that if you follow the same steps, you will reach the same destination. But your life was not designed to be a replica of someone else's journey. Your purpose requires authenticity. It requires you to discover what truly aligns with your gifts, your passions, and your vision. Building your life means trusting that your path will unfold in a way that reflects who you are. It means allowing yourself the freedom to grow in directions that may not look identical to anyone else's story. When you stop trying to mirror other people's success, you begin discovering the possibilities that exist within your own potential. Attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Where you direct your attention determines where your energy flows. If your attention is constantly absorbed by other people's lives, your own growth may remain underdeveloped. But when you direct that attention toward your own mindset, your own habits, and your own vision, you begin nurturing the areas of your life that truly shape your future. The world will always provide endless opportunities for distraction. There will always be another story to watch, another achievement to observe, another comparison to make. But the individuals who create meaningful progress are the ones who learn how to redirect their focus toward building rather than observing. Every day you have the opportunity to strengthen something within yourself. You can learn something new. You can refine your habits. You can deepen your discipline. You can expand your perspective. These small investments accumulate over time and gradually shape the direction of your life. When you shift your focus away from comparison and toward construction, your confidence begins to grow. You start recognizing that your progress does not need to resemble anyone else's timeline. You begin appreciating the uniqueness of your journey. The energy that once fueled comparison becomes fuel for creation. And the more you dedicate your attention to building your life, the more you begin to see the results of your effort appearing in ways that reflect your personal growth, your strengthened mindset, your refined habits, your expanding vision, and the steady progress you continue making as you invest your time and energy into developing the life that was always meant for you to build through consistent effort, thoughtful decisions, focused attention, and the quiet determination to keep growing as you continue shaping your path step by step while others may still be watching from a distance. There are wounds that people carry that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Pain that does not always show on the surface, but quietly shapes the way someone thinks, feels, and moves through the world. Many people learn how to hide those wounds well. They smile when others are watching. They keep moving forward. They appear strong on the outside. But inside, there are experiences that left scars on the heart and confusion in the mind. Healing